Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Tyrone back with Tech Life. Here I have a great article for you guys from the Motley Fool. I'll leave a link to it in the description so you guys could check it out. So a disclaimer, I'm no stock expert. I'm no financial expert. So don't go and buy or sell any of your stock based on what I say. So the article is titled, Is AT&T Stock a Buy? And then we'll just go briefly through the key points. AT&T stock has fallen to its lowest price in a generation. The telecom giant's heavy debt load won't go away. Potential litigation risks over lead-coated cables are something new investors must consider. So that last part, I don't think is going to be a major deal. If anything, it's going to be forgotten about in a couple of months. Then it'll be brought up again when the investigation is over, and then they'll take it from there. But I don't think it will be any huge meaningful impact to that business. They've already discussed it. They'll take care of it. And they don't see this as a big deal. That's what they discussed during the quarterly earnings. So I'm not even going to really look into that further. So the two things, AT&T has fallen to its lowest price in a generation. The telecom giant's heavy debt load won't go away. So here's the thing now. AT&T also has full clearance to their C-band blocks. So now they have the B block and the C block. Now they can go contiguous 80 megahertz nationwide. And that will help. Of course, that will help AT&T gain more capacity and further compete in the business. Now, what's interesting about AT&T, if you look at the overall spectrum portfolio, for example, in El Paso, they got started later on the deployment. So every single site that they've deployed this far, every single one has the C-band and the DoD panel. There's not a single tower that is C-band only. Every single site has C-band and DoD. So here, as an example, there's 80 megahertz contiguous on C-band and plus 40 megahertz on DoD. That's 120 megahertz of mid-band that you're aggregating on air. That should give AT&T great performance. And in some markets, where they only deployed the C-band panel at 80 megahertz, there should be some peak performance in El Paso that performs better than what people see in the 80 megahertz markets, which is usually not the case, but this go around it happened to be that way. So this is an interesting time for AT&T to really discover what's out there and what they can monetize. They're not doing fixed wireless access to any meaningful scale to bring down their capacity significantly. So they're going to have tons of capacity for the mobile user, right, which is not going to take advantage of that. They're going to take advantage of that capacity, but they're not going to need 1.3 gigs to complete their jobs. There's nothing on a phone today that needs that faster speeds. So now AT&T is going to have to brainstorm. The senior level executives, they're going to have to brainstorm and figure out, how do we monetize this capacity? We're not doing fixed wireless access in these markets because we have dominant fiber penetration in the market. So what do we do? Do we monetize the speed maybe? Do we do speed tiers on mobile? Do we monetize latency? Do we bring in more MVNOs? Do we try to strike those deals? Those are some of the discussions they're going to have at the top. Because nothing changed on the consumer part, right? AT&T just put this massive capacity on air. They deployed all of the spectrum assets that they have in their possession that they paid, $30-40 billion for. They have it connected to their own fiber, so it's feeding the site with a ton of backhaul. So now, how do they monetize it? The average consumer just got a speed boost and they don't even know it. Their phone still works the same way it did before that. So the consumer is still paying the same price, but AT&T just invested a ton more money and put a ton more capacity on air while the consumer is not paying more for it. So that's a problem. Just being honest, that's a problem for the business. Because shareholders are going to start asking for a return on investment. And if AT&T can't significantly load up more mobile users, then, if you're sitting around at 2:30 in the afternoon at lunch and you're pulling 900 megabits a second, that's a problem. That was always the case. Even during LTE, I was told if you're sitting at a site midday and you're pulling 200 megabits from a sector, that's a problem. That means they're not making money. That means there's too much unused capacity on air that, yes, it's good for you. You can complete all your tasks, maybe do some of them a little faster, but it's not good for the business. So the business is going to have to figure out how to further monetize, and that could lead to certain moves that a certain consumer may not like. You know, if they come out and say now, okay, we're going to do speed tiers. If you want to have 300 megabits a second on your mobile connection, we're going to charge you for it. A premium upcharge. You know, it's a possibility. I'm speculating. I'm just throwing things out there, but that's what could potentially happen because they need to monetize. You can't have sites out there that are doing over a gig. You need to monetize that capacity. And there's only so many more mobile users that AT&T can add on. They already have large share in enterprise. They have large share in the car business. You know, they already do tablets. They already do smartwatches, those added connections. So they're going to have to start branching off to something else. They're going to have to be innovative. They're going to have to create something new. And that could be, if you want lower latency, you got to pay for it. Premium upcharge. It could happen on mobile. They could eventually, also another thing that I want to point out, AT&T could eventually get more aggressive on fixed wireless access. Makes sense, right? If you have all that capacity on air, why not monetize more of it? Use it. That's what Verizon and T-Mobile are doing. You know, use that capacity. So we'll see what happens, right? AT&T low stock, a lot of debt to carry, so they got to monetize. You know, those are two of the points I wanted to point out. They have the spectrum capacity now to do it. They could literally implement low. If you want low latency, you pay for it. You want speed, you pay for it. You want fixed wireless access, you got to pay for that too. You know, they could very well do it. It'll be an interesting journey now that everybody is more or so level on mid-band. Now the 5G competition can really begin, in my opinion, and we'll see the rest of this decade what they do. But AT&T is really going to be stuck with trying to figure out how to monetize that capacity. That's going to be something that they brainstorm for a very, very long time. So make sure you guys stay tuned for more. Like, share, subscribe. See y'all in the next one. Peace.